Comic book artist Ken Landgraf here, and I'm doing a recreation of my famous Manowar album cover that I did in the 1980s called Hail to England. And I'm doing a pretty faithful adaptation. I changed it around a bit. Like I made the barbarian figure much bigger than it was on the cover. And I did this by cropping off the dead guy down here that got shot in the hand. Though I got him mostly in there, and I moved the girl a little bit. And we got a dead guy over here. And I cut off the battle axe so I could get more room to make the figure as powerful as possible, which I just did. And I'm going to do a little bit of inking on it and coloring. What I'm doing here is I'm dipping my brush, which is that famous Statler Mars Graphic 3000 Dual. That's out of print, but you can find them on eBay once in a while. And I'm dipping it into India ink. And I'm working on his knee here. Got the knee in and drawing the leg bone. And I'm using water constantly to dip on the brush so I can get these thin Frank Frazetta lines. Just lightly skipping over the leg with thin lines. And there's a lot of black areas on this. Like we got this big area here where his hair is. And you got to be very careful when you're filling the blacks because I got this nice eagle helmet on him. And I'm using a rather unique coloring technique on this. I'm taking like a marker, two different markers, and I'm leaving white spaces. This is also a Statler Mars Graphic 3000 dual brush. I kept a couple hundred of these, and what I'm doing is just lightly coloring in and leaving white space so the white becomes part of the color. And then I got another marker I'm going to use right now for putting in darker areas. He's got like cut lines on him and stuff, so I'll use this to kind of draw this. And I also use this for shading. And it's this combination of leaving white show through. See, look how I did his chest? So I'm doing the whole figure like that. And the trick technique is basically like here's a shape, a round shape, so I'm shading it, leaving a white space and picking it up on the other side. Same thing here with the knee. And I also have a brown Crayola pen marker that I'm using. And I like it because it's like a thin line one, so I'm using it to shade up strokes like I was inking. So it's going from the black ink lines to the brown lines. We got the other leg, lightly putting in flesh tone. And this was an interesting job because I had been doing work for the heavy metal band Thor, and Manowar asked, they'd seen my comic book work that I did for Thor, and they asked about me. And they basically just came over to my apartment and told me they wanted me to draw their album cover. And I did this cover in about a day, which was amazing because I wasn't too old at the time. I was probably in my 20s. This cover was drawn about 50 years ago. I've redrawn this cover many times, recreated it. A lot of heavy metal rock band guys and musicians, they all love this cover. It won an award at one time. It was the second best heavy metal album cover in Metal Madness magazine. They voted it number 2. And it was pretty cool because it was only beat out by the Black Sabbath's first album cover. And the same thing with the guy here. He's got a spear through him, working on his arms. Using that same technique of leaving whites show through. This is pretty much how Bernie Wrightson colored also. If you look at the album cover he did for Meatloaf, you'll see similar coloring style. And then we got this barbarian babe over here. And doing the same techniques, leaving white show through. That's looking really good again. And for the flag here, what I'm doing is I'm using Sharpie brush pens, brush markers. And I'm using a technique of going up and down constantly. Blending it together. And what I do is every time I do a color job, I put all the colors I'm going to use into like a box, so I know where the colors are at all times. I do this for every color job. You got to slow down a little bit to get around these letters. And he's got this like demon type thing on him. It's got reddish tones in it, so I'll get a nice reddish type marker. I buy all sorts of sets of different markers. I don't care what they are. This, like, whenever I see the color, like this is a brush marker set. Watercolor brush. And this demon head, I'll do the same thing. I'll leave white spaces show through. And it was interesting because Joey, the bass player, And Ross the Boss, the guitar players and bass player from Manowar, actually came to my apartment and commissioned this and picked it up. So that was pretty interesting. They had a saying that would always say "death to false metal," and they looked like muscle superhero types. And we got his armor, knives and stuff. So I need a grayish color for that. And here, what I got blue. So since I got blue, I'll work on part of the flags. Except this is gray. So then I'll use it for the weapons. You got his sword. Leave a white space before it hits here. And pick it up down here. Got a sword pouch. And what I did here is I'm inking slower, because you notice that when I put it down fast, it was lighter. See that? And here's the original Manowar cover. And here's my recreation. It looks exactly the same. Except for the changes I made of making the barbarian figure much bigger than he is. And these brushes, these color brushes, when they run out of ink, I'm going to use them as ink brushes. This is really nice. It's just gliding across the paper. Okay, so there you have it. This is being sold to Stuart Marshall, who's a guitar player from Australia, and he's currently in a band with Ross the Boss, so that's really cool. So this is going to be in his collection. I'm sure this will look tremendously cool, framed. Okay, Ken Landgraf signing off till next time. I hope you enjoyed this video.